Are you a sex worker looking to build a new website or a website redesign? Then you'll want to consider Fox Digital. They did a fantastic job designing my website, Stripped by Sia. If you want your website done, mention that you're a listener of the show at foxdigital.design for 20% off. Tell them I sent ya. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Stripped by Sia, your podcast for strippers, sex workers, and all the fancy naked people in between. I am your host, Steph Sia, aka Kimchi on stage. Thank you lovely people for coming out to watch me this past week at JR and Show Lounge. I hope you had fun. It's been a long time since I've been back on stage, but fear not if you missed me there. I will be at the Taboo Naughty But Nice sex show in Vancouver, Canada. I will be there performing on the main stage on Friday at 5:45 p.m. as well as Saturday at 3 p.m. And you can always find me at the Ava Fitness booth. I'll be there doing mini shows throughout the day and night, wearing very little clothing. So feel free to come by. I might have some little merchandise to give away as well. And of course, if you just want to say hi, you love the show, or give me any feedback if you hate the show, etc., etc., I'd love to see you come hang out. So if you didn't know what the show is about, it's basically about sex work, and it's all about destigmatizing the industry because, as you may or may not know, our work is highly stigmatized. There are many folks that are employed in this industry, and I just really want to be able to provide a really transparent approach to sex work, share the stories of different sex workers, people that are involved in the industry, background, like administrative things. There's so much that is contributed to our community. So I really want to be able to do that by sharing the lived experiences of those who are involved in it. So I bring on a different guest, or guest plural, surprise, surprise, every single week. Like today, stay tuned to see who I'll be bringing on. Just want to do a couple more shout outs before we get started here. I just wanted to say hello and a big shout out to my paying Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much. Basically, your money goes towards funding my website, making some merchandise, bettering my equipment and sound, and all the fun things. So I super appreciate your support. And of course, for those who are on the second and third tier, I just want to give you all a really nice shout out here. So we got Snoo from Germany. We've got Urup Sarkar from BC, where I am. Same as Jay Sunsern, also from Canada. We got Justin Erickson from Vancouver, Washington. We've got Ted McGuire. We've got Selena Money. Some new subscribers, we have Marty Lang, Earl Kwan, and Trey Lanti, and much more that are on the lower tiers as well. Subscriptions start at $4, so price of a coffee, depending on what kind of coffee you shop for or consume. It is Stripped by Sia on Patreon, so patreon.com/Stripped by Sia. If you want to get involved, feel free to check it out. Different subscription tiers available. Also, just want to give a quick shout out to my network as well. So skyhawkafterdarktv.com. This is a excellent network filled with different adult industry podcasts, videocasts, other forms of media there, including some other guests that I've had on the show that have their own shows as well. So really honored to be a part of that. And be sure to check them out at skyhawkafterdarktv.com. And last but not least, our sponsor who made my lovely website, strippedbysia.com. We have Fox Digital. It's a really great way to get your website started, or if you needed a website revamp, be sure to contact Anthony at foxdigital.design for 20% off exclusively for Stripped by Sia listeners. Go peep him, tell him I sent ya, and get something beautiful and pretty made for your presence online. Okay, so I mentioned, since we got all that stuff out of the way, I mentioned I usually bring on a different guest, or guests, plural, on every single week to share their experiences and their perspectives about sex work onto the show. This week is no exception. I am super excited to have connected very recently, actually, with JR and Jazmine Cruz. I met with them, I guess, on Twitter. We had intentions of meeting at the AVNs. I fucked up and couldn't get back into the event. And then there was a whole bunch of drama that happened on my end, which I fucked up on, including my ticket for the awards ceremony in the red carpet area. But anyways, that is beyond us. It's okay. We're meeting now here virtually. I'm going to have to go out and see them in person at some point. But yes, please. I am so sad because they're super fun. And like, I just feel like I've been knowing you guys for like much longer than we've been connected for, and it's just been a couple weeks. But if you are not familiar with JR and Jasmine's work, they are digital content creators. They're also represented as talent by Cox Models and oh, there we go. Well, Jazmine is technically. And they're also the hosts of the Just Cruisin' podcast, which will be debuting next month, February 2023. So stay tuned. They're also part of the swinging lifestyle, which is also a big topic that we will be speaking about today because I really haven't had anyone come onto the show. I have not had any swinging experts on the show yet. So I am super excited to have you both on. JR and Jazmine, are you there?
We are.
Hello.
We are here.
Hello.
My brain's here. Mine is somewhere else.
So excited to have you both on. Thank you so much for joining me. And for my lovely Patreon subscribers, you guys are in for a treat because we got some amazing outfits here. I wish those listening can see them. Of course, you'll have to subscribe. But we've got JR Cruz, aka Mr. Sexy Buns, in this like barista, sexy Starbucks outfit. You stand up and give me a twirl. Oh, there we go. Sexy Buns.
That's a big booty to kind of just shock on you. I'm sorry.
No,
Because you wanted the full sexy buns, so.
That's why you're called Mr. Sexy Buns.
Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Jazmine here in this beautiful white bikini here, showing me all the goods, giving me a little booty action here. You guys have to subscribe to the Patreon. I'm telling you, those who are not subscribed are really missing out on a lot of great content.
His booty is bigger than mine, but please, I don't mind.
Well, I'm super excited to have you both on today. Cannot wait to speak about your experience in sex work, your entry into adult, talking a lot about swinging, parenting, all the things today. But I always like to throw it back to my guests too. Like, how would you like to define yourself? And if you were to give yourself your own intro, how would you go about doing that?
Oh, that's my cue. So we're Jazmine and JR Cruz. We have been married for 18 plus years. We've been in the lifestyle for roughly 8.5, 9 years. She's been in the porn industry for about 4 years, 5 years now, but just recently signed with Cox Models. I got gently nudged into the adult industry, and I've been doing some fetish shoots as well. We just love having fun. We like being open and upfront and honest with everybody, and part of our focus, especially like in the podcast, is just to kind of help everybody see that, we're all in the sex work industry and everything. We're all people. Like, we're not just some crazed deviants. We're husband and wives. We're parents. We're members of the community, things like that. So I hate the stigma that's associated with that, which is one of the things that attracted me to your show. That's part of what you wish to accomplish as well.
Absolutely.
How'd I do?
Yeah, no, that was amazing. That was perfect. Did you rehearse that? That was awesome.
Yeah, he did great. At first, he actually is usually the host on Just Cruisin'. I'm usually like the add-on.
The color commentary.
I'd be like, yes, I agree. I totally agree. I really agree.
The caramelized commentary.
You're the key to leave,
Jazmine. The great thing about being that kind of power couple that we kind of can understand each other on that level.
Well, we want to be that power couple.
Yeah, we want to be
working towards.
I think we are.
We're power couple light.
Yeah, we power couple light, and for both of us, like he said, it's maintaining that balance between having your personal life as well as that work life,
Yeah.
as well as being a very like genuine people when we're around other people. Like, like he was saying, I don't curse, I don't drink alcohol, I've never done drugs. And it's always like, oh, so what are you high on? I'm like, look, baby, I'm high on life, because I don't do either. It's just my energy is just like that naturally. And I love to meet people, network. And that's the biggest question is, how do we do it? And I think
Yeah.
we wake up like 4 or 5 in the morning. We work out, we train, we have a positive mindset. We like to establish that kind of positive vibes,
Yeah.
within our lifestyle, because I don't think many people see or envision this is the kind of life we have. But I guess the biggest struggle, like I put that in another interview that I answered uh, by someone else, is being able to be that parent, to separate being a parent and then doing your work and going, okay, you get a phone call at a photo shoot. Okay, what? You can't do that. Okay, go study. And you're like trying to travel, and then you're trying to let them know
parents
at the same time. And you're like, oh wait, I'm gonna get sexy. But wait, I'm not getting sexy. What did you get? I'm not great. What? It's just like you turn on, turn off switch. But we
Yeah.
are meant to understand how to do that, and we're still working on it. So
Constantly a work in progress, right?
Absolutely.
Trying to find that balance. It's so hard because like being in sex work, especially like, with a lot of like online work, but also like with any in-person work too, it's just like finding that work-life balance, and how do you not burn yourself out, and how do you like not go crazy, because like a lot of this is just being on like 24/7, which we'll talk about later on today. But before we get into things, I would love to hear your origin stories in sex work, like, and maybe we'll start off with Jazmine, since you've been in the industry a bit longer, and then we'll bring you on, JR, too, and how you were introduced.
Yes, ma'am.
okay, what was the question?
How you got into sex?
Oh, okay.
I love you.
So the original plan was, I was in Korea. We'll bet.
Yeah, let's take it all
We're
back.
back
Yeah,
in South Korea.
start at day one.
With friends, she was in the car, and as a joke, she's like, "Girl, you look hot. You remind me of Asa Hole." And I'm like, "Who the heck is
Asa
Asa
Akira.
Akira, love her.
Akira?" And I said, "Well, what did I say?"
Asa Hole.
Well,
Asa
yeah,
Hole.
her. And I saw her photo. I was like, "Yeah, she's pretty hot." But she's like, "Well, I think you're like a porn star." And I said, "Well, I don't know. We'll see how that goes." Because, at the time, I was personal training. I was doing bodybuilding competitions, teaching English. I know we have a crazy lifestyle. We were both doing all this stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, never thought of it. But, I think you know how to be very sensual, sexual. You're very good at posing, modeling. Have you tried it? So the funny part is she linked up with a photographer back in the stateside, Jimmy Hardy. So she introduced me to him through FaceTime, and then he was like, "Well, if you're really serious, let's send some photos. Let's do the modeling part." And it was hard to be like, our time difference was different. So
Mhm.
what was late for him was early for me. So we had to work out our meetings to see each other. And lo and behold, I did send the photos to him. He's like, "Hey, when can you travel back to States?" I'm like, "Look, I live here, you know, so I'm gonna have to like send it for now. I have a bodybuilding competition, so I had to choose between bodybuilding competition or going to States to model, and I had to stay because I had to compete soon in lifting and bodybuilding competitions. But fast forward, I got really into it. I sent some photos, some sexy like toy videos, which I'm not very good with toys at the time because it was kind of taboo. I'm Filipino. We don't. That's not something
Oh,
we talk about.
girl, same. Filipino here too, so very taboo.
I was gonna say, this guy. Well, it's funny. She came over and she's like trying to put the Hitachi thing on me. I did the. It was very.
Rabbit.
It was a rabbit, but he was trying. She was trying to. I just wasn't there. But then he was like, "Let me chime in," and then he gets in there. I was like, "Oh, yes, whatever you're doing." I push her aside. "Sorry, girl." I was like this. Keep on going, and then from there, we set up an OnlyFans account. I did a lot of girl and girl and like toy stuff because I thought that was where the money was. He
Mhm.
helped me learn the toys. He helped me find the right G spots where I could come a lot.
There's multiples?
I don't know. You just make it happen. And then after a while,
Google's my best
you
friend.
know, he was like making me feel very sensual, sexual. We did a lot of scenes together in OnlyFans. But I really thought girl and girl was the thing. After a few years, we did meet up with the photographer. We did like lots of scenes together and lots with solo toy stuff, self masturbation. And then finally this year, I was like, you know what? I have done girl and girl for like 4 to 5 years.
And
No one's nothing's been working. I introduced Mr. Sexy Buns. We revamped our whole OnlyFans by a friend of ours, AZ Hot Wife, and Mr. J helped me create my Twitter, recreate the OnlyFans, tell the crowd out there, showcase our talent. He can cook, he could twerk, he taught me how to pole dance.
What?
I put all of it.
Shucks.
I created his TikTok. I created his Instagram. We were at Exotica. People were asking for him. So now I wake up every morning and I kind of work and help him out with his Instagram and his TikTok.
Wow.
He has OnlyFans as well. Mr. Sexy Buns is going nationwide, worldwide. Very proud of his A-star or his buttocks. Here we are today sharing the story of thank you for Cox Models, Connor Cox and Charlie Comment, their business partners that are my agents. Thank you to Scores Group, Team Ski Play Studios, who's hired me, Wideside Production, Sarah J that hired me, and amazing photographers and other. There's a long list.
Yeah,
but I just break
sure.
it down to the porn production that definitely promoted my butt off on Twitter, on everything.
Yeah, and that helps so much.
Just 6 months for his dick, for pleasing me. Oh, pay for him. I love his mind, not just his dick.
So wait. So basically, JR, you were introduced to the adult industry because Jazmine needed help with
kind of.
your assistant.
So I would, film with her. We kind of kept my face out of it at first and all of that. And then when we were down for Fetish Con this year, that was when we ended up meeting Mark Blaze from Blaze Studios, and shot a bunch of stuff. And I was kind of still running like her Twitter and her social media and all that stuff. And we ended up shooting a scene where I got to act in the scene. I got to play Johnny Glass. I'm sorry?
Like with your face this time, not just
not
just a stunt talk.
And I had to explain to him that he needed to kind of help me out with this insatiable woman. So he had to fuck his stepmom.
That's me.
It was pretty great.
That's so fun.
Oh yeah. And then, not to discount, she also was a stripper for 3 years before we left for Korea.
Yeah.
And then has been a stripper since.
Yes, I have. And I love it.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I don't want them to kill me, but Peter Fitzwell and Naomi Fox actually helped me, also introduce me in the industry. They're amazing porn stars.
Yes.
We met them through the lifestyle.
If it wasn't for them, then they gave me the positive encouragement to work hard and to keep with it. I had a lot of struggles and understanding it because I had to watch more porn.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta build her confidence. Yeah, really, it's like she doesn't realize how beautiful and gorgeous she is. And
aww, that's so sweet.
Unfortunately, it doesn't always. When you say it as coming from the husband, a lot of times it's well, you're married to me, you have to say that. I'm like, no, it's true. Like I wouldn't.
You're not just paid to say that. So back up here. So you were actually introduced to the adult industry by people in the swinging lifestyle who are actually porn stars too.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about that as well. So let's talk about swinging in general. So first of all, swinging 101, can you explain to the audience in your own words and terms like what swinging is? Because maybe some people might have some misconceptions about swinging is, and people have their own idea, but I'd love for you to provide your own explanation in terms of like how you would describe the lifestyle.
Okay. So
Sorry.
It likes to distract me while I'm talking sometimes, and it's very difficult. But
and distracting me
so,
too.
right? It's like, yeah, we were doing so the lifestyle really is just an easier way of saying what a better term is consensual non-monogamy. Did you just drink my coffee?
I did. I thought it was tea.
That's not tea. So consensual non-monogamy. So, a monogamous relationship, husband and wife. Non-monogamous would be, the inverse of that. So we are able to interact and play around with other people outside of our marriage, but within our boundaries, within communication, and it's always within consent.
Absolutely. So
Parameters.
important. So important.
Oh yeah, communication is everything in it. And then it's not even just about like when we get to fuck other couples, it's great.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it. The community, that the people that you meet in the lifestyle are just some of the most genuine, the most like unfiltered. They're not trying to put themselves out to be something else. They're just them, unapologetically them, and that's really how we've always been anyways. So it just kind of, we really found our place in there.
Yeah, and we have like I like to build a good chemistry with them, and not just like chemistry or friendship. And overall, a lot of our swinging friends, we haven't even had sex with most of them. Wow. Like we were talking about this, 80%. I mean, it's probably great. It's a bonus if we get to, but sometimes we were like, it's not even about that, because we have a long-term friendship that we can build.
It's really
upon,
more about all
dependability,
of that.
reliability,
the relationship, the chemistry,
going to another place, knowing that we can go places and hang out. Because we travel a lot now, but at the moment we didn't have much friendships because our lives are family, sports of the kids. I'm a trainer, exotic dancer, working in porn. He also works full time, so it's like we are go is our lifestyle. So.
and then like a lot of we really, because of everything that we did on the other side, like we didn't want to hide who we were, but also we didn't want to just kind of like throw it in people's faces. Being here in Georgia, we're kind of in the Bible Belt. And, there's a lot of pearl clutching going on. So it's like, you don't have to hide who you are around other people in the community. There are absolutely people outside of the lifestyle that are very open and friendly to that and don't care, which is awesome. It's just the preponderance of them is more in the lifestyle than out.
I like that word.
Totally. Yeah, like I would say, like, along with sex work, like swinging can have like a bit of, it's a very like it can be very taboo for a lot of
absolutely
people.
We've had friends that lost their jobs because of it. We've had friends that actually were taken back to court with custody battles because it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not recognized as what is quote unquote normal, which is monogamy, right?
Fortunately, there's places out there like the National Coalition for Sexual Freedom. I believe I said that right.
That's
the NCSF.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
That they have a whole community of people like that are willing to help out and promote the other aspects of it, and that it's we're still people. Like, we're not
absolutely.
We don't have to have sex with everybody that we meet. Like, oh, hey, we're swingers, let's fuck. No, like there's so much more,
and there's some kind of connection that goes along with it.
Like she mentioned, like, we're not going to sleep with everybody that we meet. We're not going to
even
sleep with everybody that is in the community.
Yes, and we don't expect it either. So
totally. And that's like the same thing again, like along with sex work too. Like when people think like, or when people like hear that I'm a dancer, people know that I do like have an OnlyFans, and they just automatically think like, oh my God, do I have a chance with you now? Like, we're gonna fuck each
How
other
many guys are like, well, if you need somebody, I guess I could help you out, and shoot with you. Like, oh, gee willikers, thank you. I've never had that many people offer before. It's like so hard to find somebody that.
Literally the same thing. So many parallels too, which is why I thought you guys would be a great fit to come onto the show to speak about this. But I mean, going back to I guess 8 or 9 years ago, because you mentioned you've been in the lifestyle for that long, almost a decade. How did you get introduced to the lifestyle?
So I come from a few deployments, and I've had some issues that I've been dealing with for years, and it, like with the PTSD and stuff like that, is for a while it was also kind of ruining my my libido. Like I wasn't feeling ever in the mood. I really wanted to be kind of away from everyone. Didn't want to be around people. I didn't really feel loving or being loved. Sometimes it was just, there was a lot of messed up stuff. And when we first started dating, she was so she was 25, I was 19.
Wow.
So as far as sexual peak wise, like we were right on the same wavelength, even though there's a big age difference. So we went from like, and this girl 3, 4, 5 times a day at the beginning was like, yeah. I'm like, it's 2:00 in the morning and I have to be up for PT at like,
I
4.
attacked you anyway.
Yeah. So because of stuff like, but I mean, primarily like the whole, I didn't feel like I was taking care of her in that way. And I didn't want her to suffer who she was because of what I was dealing with of who I was at the time. So I had proposed the idea of, hey, well, maybe we throw someone else into the mix. Maybe I need a tag team partner. I can be like, oh, all right, you got us.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I always do try to keep a sense of humor about everything, like within the struggles and stuff like that. But so we slowly kind of got into some things like that. Her being bisexual, we had started off with, like just other women and stuff.
Sandwich time.
So, and then
add on.
But yeah, so it just, and we've evolved as we went, and we've definitely had our pitfalls and our challenges that we've had to overcome. And really the biggest piece of that is communication and establishing boundaries.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to ask, like, how did you approach that conversation to Jazmine? Like, how did you go about that? Because that can also be really nerve-wracking and like really anxiety-inducing as well. Especially, I'm assuming before you were probably both like monogamous, I would say, before this. Yeah.
Yeah, I worded it in similar to kind of how I just said. It was just like, babe, I know that I'm not currently, I'm going through a lot of stuff, and I'm not really fulfilling you in that matter, and so I thought we would give this a try. And she was reluctant at first, and that's where communication kind of comes in, because a lot of times it's, oh, so you want us to be able to sleep with other people? You want to fuck with the girls? And I was like, no, it's more about you, because I really don't want to fuck anybody at this point. But so like I said, communication, learning, evolving, we've kind of gone through it, and we didn't really start doing it right, shall we say, until I actually started getting into some podcasts about the lifestyle and kind of learning more.
And I started listening to them with him, because some of the terms I did not know.
And I was like, oh, babe, like, listen to this. This is like people that have been doing this for a while, and their whole thing is about helping others kind of enter into the lifestyle, learn about how to talk about it, things like that. And combination of that, and then we go to marriage counseling. And fortunately, we found a marriage counselor that has certifications in other types of like sexual things.
Oh, good.
So it definitely helped to not have somebody that was like, oh, that's terrible. Don't do.
Yeah, especially being in Georgia too, you might be like met with that kind of like, pushback. But Jazmine, where was the reluctancy and hesitancy coming from? Was it just because like you had never done this before? Were you nervous about like hurt feelings or anything like that? Or like where was your mind at that time when JR approached you with that conversation?
Yeah, so for me, I think the biggest challenge that I had was the jealousy factor. I think as a female, it is a natural thing for us to be jealous. And for every woman that I've talked to, they have said the same. So for me, it took a lot of understanding it. I am very clingy and attached to Mr. Sexy Buns. And I told him, yeah, I'm a little jealous. It's like, is she hotter than me? Did she do it better than me? I'm competitive. So in my mind, I'm like, what can she do down here and down here, up here? Like, you never know. And then part of me is like, am I adequate enough for him? Is my question. Because, getting in there and, I love Mr. Sexy Buns. We created beautiful kids. But, outside of that, when you get in that room, you're like, oh, gosh, can she? It was a real conversation. Does she do it better than me? And, is she? And then he proposed a perfect example. If she's better and you think that, maybe she could teach you. And ta-da, guess what?
Yeah.
I started doing content with other creators. And there were situations where I actually did my first time to do the dick in between my tits. And I was like, well, can you teach me that? Actually, we could do a video. Okay. Work with me, girl. Tell me how it's done. Because I haven't done that. And
naturally, I reluctantly accepted.
Yes,
I was like, oh,
he had
yeah.
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And for me, it's like the most I have before Mr. Sexy Buns. Okay, let's respect you. I had
BS before Sexy Buns?
BS. Like at least 2 guys, but I haven't done like a group of other men. But that one day we were in fetish convention, and it was it Travel Horse that we did content with. The guys, it was Italian Stallion, it was Rowan, and then I did content. I had to do like 5-6 guys in one day, and I've not done it. But you know what? My heart was there. I'm gonna learn all this stuff, so when I get my paid porn, I am prepared. He made a perfect example, so that
good practice.
Me not so nervous. But there's stories behind that, so that's another one. That's another podcast to deal with. But
I was gonna say one of those things about if she or he does something better,
he encourages it.
One of the things I mentioned to her was like, hey, we're always looking to be the best that we can be, right? Yeah. So if he does something better that you really like, even on a shoot, bring it back home.
Yeah.
Be like, oh my God, he did this to me. So perfect example is when she did her scene with James Angel. He did this thing where he kind of pulls her arms behind her back while he's fucking her doggy style, and she called me afterwards. Was like, JR, oh my God, he did this thing, and I really want to try it. And so when she came home from the shoot, I was like, oh, like this? And she was like, oh my God, yes. I was like, oh. So
I love
that's the way in the end, it makes us better because we learn from others.
Well, that's a really, really good approach too.
You're interjected, man. Sorry. Well, anyway, as I was saying, the jealousy part, feeling comfortable, and also knowing that on his end, he's actually the one who's encouraging me to do all this stuff with other men. Right. He actually said, you know what, you're compatible with this guy and this guy. So it's the other way around. So people ask me, how do I choose these guys? And I'm not going to lie, Mr. Sexy Buns is the one that does the selection process. I'm so shy to actually message or call them. But he's like, you know what, you would be great with? Hold on, let me go contact this person. Here I am going. First I thought it was awkward, but the guys usually ask me, so how is it that you to choose me and stuff like that? Actually, good story. Well, my husband saw you on Instagram. He's watched your work, and he told me to study your work. And when I saw you, I was like, dang, okay, that's really hot. I really do want to work with that guy and that guy and that guy.
Wait, Johnny Love.
Hilarious.
Johnny Love, G.I. Joey, Peter Fitzwell, James Angel, Triple X. And these are people that I know off the top of my head. There's more. They just stand out because I actually connected and we had a lot of sex with each other. On and off sex. I was just like,
well, going back to the jealousy conversation, how do you navigate that, and how do you establish your boundaries when you're in the lifestyle?
Well, so that goes back to the communication aspect of it, and trust, of course, but to be able to kind of sit down and go over before you go into an encounter. Even when we were shooting scenes with AC Hot Wife and her husband, Mr. J. They were we stopped first and we were like, okay, so boundaries for today. What can we do? What can't we do? What do we stay away from? Things like that. And, everyone's a little bit different. So that's what we always try to make sure that we cover that. And then you have to respect that too. There is no compromising. It's you agree on stuff. So if she decides she doesn't want this, and I want that. It doesn't matter. Like whoever is not comfortable with whatever that act is trumps all of that. Just because there's no forcing. I mean, that ruins the fun of it.
Yeah, then it's not fun anymore. You take the fun out of
Exactly.
it.
And everybody's got. I think I said earlier when we were talking. I said not all swingers are created equal.
Yes.
Like not everyone's boundaries are the same.
Right.
I mean, there's everything from there are some couples that they only want to talk in a group chat. There's some that like they can talk to this. You can the wife can talk to the wife by themselves. The husband can talk to the husband by themselves, but the husband can't contact the wife, and vice versa. And we're kind of already past a lot of that stuff.
We're past that. I mean,
but,
I tell them everything.
Not to say that that's bad. Everybody, again, we respect everybody's boundaries. That's just not where our boundaries are.
Yeah, that's not how you kind of operate, and that's really cool too.
We share everything, anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just curious too, because you've been in the lifestyle for so long, for almost a decade. Like, how have your boundaries shifted from, say, in the beginning when you're first starting out and this is all brand new to you, and what does it look like now?
So we were basically soft swap only
soft swap
in the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's soft swap versus full swap. Soft swap is more like oral is kind of the limits. Full swap is actual, penetration.
Yeah, and for me, I'm gonna put it out there that I think swinging helps too, because now I'm getting paid porn. It helps get me more comfortable on sets. I think I was really nervous and had a lot of anxiety on some of the shoots, but after doing it, practicing it, getting to know the people, it makes it easier. And I love sex. I'm a sex addict, so I mean, like I said, on and off camera, I think I like to have fun with it, and I just people say, okay, I did it. I got a check. I got paid to do paid porn. Me, I'm like, I got paid porn. I got to F you star, and I loved every part of it. So me, I'm a very highly sexual and sensual and passionate person, and I love it. And if I'm about to attack a guy, or if there's a female, whatever, I'm gonna jump on that dick and ride that dick. And you guys, that I named all you guys. I'm getting hard right now. I swear to you.
I love it. I mean, that's really cool. I think that's a cool parallel too, because I was gonna say, because you're swapping so many different partners, or you're interchanging partners so often, I feel like that would really prep you and help support you in sex work, especially if you're doing a lot of different collaborations. If you're doing anything on paid porn sets and stuff like that, I think that's actually a really good way to prep, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Absolutely. She had mentioned that she was really nervous about her first couple of shoots. And I'm like, babe, just let out that dirty girl that you are. You're a freak, babe. Just let it fly. Oh, okay.
I just them, I press them, molest them.
Well, yeah, don't worry about all this stuff. You enjoy what you enjoy. Go get it.
And I was asking him, what do you think the guys think of that? And he was like, I think they're flattered that you're doing that. Because if I were a guy doing that and there was a hot girl, I think I'd be like, wow, my ego would be taking off. So for me, I do what I please, and I'm excited to show that on camera, off camera, and I can't wait for the next shoots coming up in February, because I'm gonna have my
sounds spicy. So, I guess going back to, because you had mentioned, Jazmine, that you had been introduced to the lifestyle in a way by some other porn star friends of yours as well, in addition to JR, the problems you might have been having at the time, the challenges you might have been having at the time, and you wanted to just give Jazmine a bit more sexual freedom, I guess. In that sense. But yeah, when did you start really getting involved in the lifestyle? And what I mean by that is meeting other people, and how do you when you first start, how do you go about meeting people that are in the lifestyle? It's not just some rando or someone that is very monogamous. How do you meet people, and how do you vet for them?
You just walk up to people in the grocery store and just be like, hey, what the fuck?
So for him, he developed a very smart idea. He joined Facebook groups. And, there's certain, on social media, there's swinger groups. And we got a lot of like mentorship from these people that are already in it, saying this is how you filter the ones that you like. What are the types you do like and not like? And he was able to, set that up for me. And then after a while, we started seeing some of the people on the lifestyle groups. And I was like, whoa, there's some of these pictures are showing the same people that we saw on the apps as well as a Facebook group. So we started chatting for a little bit. And JR is just great with networking. And he was able to communicate and say, hey, let's meet up. He'd be like spontaneous. He's like, okay, we're going to come today right before you head to the club. I'm like, I don't know. I'm a little nervous. Like, we're just going to meet them just spur of the moment. He goes, no, this is life, make it happen. And that's why I married him. I like the spontaneity. I like living for the thrill adventure, because you have to push me to do it. I'm not ready, but he's more like, we're ready now. What's holding you back? Kind of deal. So we've been meeting people. I feel like we're having swinger dates. Let's go meet them at a restaurant.
We call them meetups.
Meetups.
And it's really just more of a get to know one another, hang out, and just talk.
See the vibe.
And very rarely is that the same time that we'll. Very rarely will we play on the first date. We're kind of prude like that.
Yeah. Swingers, yeah.
Well, that's cool though.
We like the mental and we like the physical, but usually having a conversation, the mental is like sexy thing. Yeah. Characteristic. I was like, one of them we did a spur of the moment was like, he didn't think we were gonna play it. I'm like, I'm ready. They're talking about books. They're intellectual, and I was like, oh shoot.
So without putting names out there, just we were actually staying overnight over in Atlanta area for our kids' wrestling tournament, and we made a weekend out of it. And so we met them. We did dinner. We went to a bakery afterwards, and then we went right to Tokyo Valentina. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
And next thing you know, we're looking at double-ended dildos to see what they want to play.
Oh, they were really long.
That's amazing. Okay, wait, hold up here. So, also, yes, you are both parents of some lovely children, of course, as well. Yeah, like how do you navigate and how do you find the balance between trying to be involved with the lifestyle, but also have kids, and also how do you come into a conversation with your kids, if you've ever had a conversation with your kids about either sex work or swinging?
Yeah. So
take it over, JR.
Well, so when she was as a stripper, the kids get older. Our kids are 15, 14, and 13.
Kids. Wow.
They kind of figured the stripping part out on their own. It only works so long. She works at a bar,
right?
And that's why she has all of these singles,
right?
And she has these signature light up shoes. Her dancer name was Estrella.
Yes.
And so they like sparkle and everything, and so she'd have them like sitting there charging, heels like that tall.
I have the same ones.
So finally, at one point, I forget how it all happened, but they were like, "Dad, come on, you don't wear those just to regular bars." I was like, "Are you guys okay with that?" And they're like, "Shoot, we go on great trips. We get all the stuff we need."
Yeah.
Hey, she's got to work. Did you work a couple extra nights this week? I want to go on.
And the funny part was my daughter had said, yeah, photo shoot with that lingerie. And I'm tired coming from work. I work 10 hours, so everything spills out the bag. Sometimes I sleep with my clothes. So one day I just slept there like this, or my money, like I was counting it, and my mouth was open trying to count it, and I was drinking tea.
She fell asleep with the like on her chest, just.
And then he was like, "You're horrible at lying." So that's when I said, "Well, I really thought they knew I was a bartender." Like, yeah, Mom, a bartender, sure.
Bartender. But no, so that part of it, and then we started we already knew that we wanted to raise our kids in a more sex positive environment, because like your parents are. I don't know, we grew up in abstinence till marriage and all of that. And, you don't discuss things like safe sex or, how to, like that. And I was like, did that stop anybody? Did that work for anybody that wasn't a fundamentalist kind of, oh God, God's just watching me. Not to mock kids' religion or anything like that. I'm not. But no, like all you're doing by giving them only one avenue is they're still going to want to try other things, and if they aren't armed with the tools to proceed cautiously and carefully, then they're gonna make mistakes, and that's where things can kind of start to happen. So we started talking about things like that. Kind of explained a little bit about the community. It was the lifestyle stuff, and it actually started. They were having a conversation in the back of the car, and they're like, "Well, I think that's cheating," and this and that. I was like, "Where did you guys get this whole idea?" They were like, "Oh, I don't know." I was like, "Well, so what would you say if I told you that, like, you know, we were in the lifestyle?" And, what? You know, look, here's how this is going to work. From today on, we will never lie to you. You ask us a question, we will give you the answer. But just be prepared, because if you don't want to know what the answer actually is, don't ask the question.
That's very true.
You know, and then as far as in the industry, I mean, they're in 2 out of 3 of them are in high school already. So, you know, we know kids have access to all that crap on their phone in the beginning. The last thing I wanted was some kid to be like, "Oh, look, is that your parents on Pornhub?"
Yeah.
And they're embarrassed, or they get emotional,
or you know, to be like shocked like that. I couldn't even imagine. So we kind of just told them.
Yeah.
Wow. How did your children react to that information? Like, how did they digest it?
They handled it really well. It was more of just a, like, let's just not talk about it. We know, but we don't want to know the details.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm not going to try to give you the details, but again, like, you know, just don't ask questions, and we won't give you the answers. You know, but no, but we still talk about, you know, things like safe sex, and, you know, not necessarily waiting till marriage, but waiting until you're ready to accept the responsibilities that come along with that.
Absolutely.
Because that can be, like, your first can be true story. She's actually my first.
No way! Yeah. Oh my God, that's so sweet.
But, you know, like, it is still a big deal, no matter how you look at it. Like, anytime you do something for the first time, that is something that sticks with you. So if you end up with, you know, whether it's our son, you know, ends up with some floozy that's just kind of does whatever she wants, and not to necessarily call that person a floozy, just like someone, let's say someone more sexually free than they are, that is able to separate between the emotions aspect of it and the physical aspect of it. For them to feel like it was something really special to them, and not have that same feeling with with their partner, I think that can be pretty damaging to, you know, self-esteem, emotionally, stuff like that.
I'm sorry. Time to pick up the kids from sports.
We still
okay. Sorry.
You guys still have time? You guys still get
checking the phone.
Like, I got this.
Okay.
I got this. That's right.
Well, I think that's really cool and natural too, that, well, one, like, your kids kind of approach you, because I feel like if the kids are asking the question, then they are old enough to know at that point. Like, kids are not stupid, and I feel like a lot of the times with, like, old school ways of parenting and teaching, or like the ways that I grew up, and like maybe Jazmine, you had a similar experience with Filipino freaking parents that are so overprotective and like no sex, no this, like everything's super strict. Like, that kind of, like, for me at least, like, makes you rebel more. And like,
I'd say that. I tell that to my kids. I'm like, everything that you're thinking of, I've thought of. If you've ever snuck out, I was there. And guess what? Filipino parents, my mom was like, so you're going to wear that to the club or the church? Where are you going? And she goes, lift up your skirt. And then she was like, this is my real outfit, Mom. She goes, aha, see? But then I tell the same thing to my kids. Yeah. Don't lie to me. Just be honest. And if you're doing it, just be honest with me. Though it's more worse if you lie behind our backs than if you tell the truth. That's why they're shocked at us sometimes. They'll say, oh, wow, I thought there was a worse punishment. No, it takes more bravery and more courage to do what you did and take the responsibility than somebody behind our backs. That's what makes them weak.
Like, you're still going to get punished. It's not going to be as bad as if we found out when you were lying. I just want to circle back just real quick, because I felt, as soon as I said it, I was like, oh, that's not what I meant. Like, the negative connotation about people that are more free with their sexuality. I don't ever want to actually make people feel like that's a bad thing. Like it's not necessarily a bad thing. So I apologize if that came out that way.
Oh no,
it's like,
I think it's fine.
They're irking me. So
I'm not
No.
bothered. I'll go with you.
well, that's for sure.
Do you feel that because of your lifestyle and also like with your involvement and your profession in the sex industry, do you feel like that has made your conversations easier with your kids or more challenging?
I think so.
I think there's a weight off my shoulders now. I've been holding back. These past few years, I've been dancing a total of 7 years. Can you imagine hiding, trying to wear something, trying to hide the money? Like, I was more stressed at work, and it was more like relaxing to know other mothers already. You know, I kind of got jealous when they were like, yeah, my kids know and they're okay. They know that it does this, and I support them. Me, it's like I couldn't be in locker room conversation. I was like, I'm hiding, I'm lying and doing this. But it was like that part of me wanted to get it out, and I was very on edge, and he noticed that I was very on edge. Whatever I did, I felt like everyone's watching me, and then finally this year I was able to. I have less stress. I'm highly more sexual than ever. He's shooting out like lots of sperm in my mouth like ever. And so I said the word SH star star. Ladies and gentlemen, I said my first cuss word in a podcast because I got horny. But anyway, it was SH star star, but the real word came out. But anyway, he's just putting so much sex into it. Like, we're having sex as I come from the club now, even before going to work. I mean, his sexual, his hunger for it is, for the last 18 years, is probably the most ever. Like, I'm actually, and we're able to be more, trustworthy with our words. I love him to death. I do everything. I'm not going to get crying on this freaking podcast. I'm just going to say that he makes me scream, not cry.
She and she found out that she really kind of likes watching and filming for me as well.
I wasn't comfortable before. I was like, no, I don't think I want you to do that. Now I'm like, okay, babe. So I had my first shower scene, Laura Cross and Leo, and I was watching Laura with him. I'm like, I'm gonna be in the shower watching. This is my only OnlyFans porn live stream. I'm gonna watch because I'm always the one in the camera, right? So it was like camera here. So now I'm able to feel more free, more relaxed and calm, and more trustworthy of him.
Because I've been, I was looking at it. I'm always, I'll support her in anything that she wants to go and do. And so, like, when I was having to film, I mean, I had no apprehension. I was like, I'm right in there. I'm like, oh, they need the undershot. I'm like, I'm right under there with the camera, like getting the balls, smacking the back of the pussy. Like, I was right there. I didn't even care.
Yeah.
Like, and so her now doing that, and I've always, one of my kind of fetishes is I like being told what to do in there in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And so when she's like, oh yeah, JR, okay.
Take her from behind.
Yeah.
Shove that.
Suck on those nipples.
Hole.
Suck on her tits.
Drive on her heart.
You do this, and I'm just like,
as ever sticky.
okay, let's.
Okay.
I
was there.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, like with all of these layers with your lives, like it really lends. It sounds like swinging has really lent into sex work, and sex work has really lent a lot into your own lifestyle as well, like your own relationship, strengthening your relationships with your kids. Like, what are some, I guess, like in your own words, like what are some lessons you might have learned from sex work?
Well, from sex, so there's a lot of aspects within that. But no, so communication, again, I know I say that a lot, but it's really, really important. Like, being able to openly talk about what's going on. Being able to trust that, nothing other than what you're being told is happening. And if something changes, like I got a phone call or a text or, vice versa. Like, hey, so I just happened to run across, like, when we were at AVN, I'd be like, hey, so this other girl wants to shoot content. Is that cool? She's like, yeah, go. she's actually like in the middle of shooting her own porn scene. You know? Yeah, so she'll be like in the middle. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Facts. It's facts. It's fun, exciting facts.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, like this year, honestly, after 18 years, this is the most trust I've had in him. It was a big step for me. This is a breakthrough.
This has been our best year.
Yeah, there's a best year as far as sexually, and also being able to be agreeing with the swinging, agreeing like if he was off to do a shoot and I wasn't there, I told him I don't have to be there anymore. I trust you.
Wow.
I trust me. I've gone to shoots and I still ask his permission. Is it okay? Because it's that level of respect. And if he says it's not okay, then I'm not going to do it. But he's all for it. Then he's like, go, babe, have fun. And I'm the same way. Have fun with it. Yeah, that's exact words.
I love it. I mean, it sounds like this has really like strengthened, again, like your relationship and your trust, and just like really has built some firm roots in the foundation of your relationship and your marriage. And now even in the work that you both do together. So I think what you both are creating is so freaking beautiful, sexy, and hot, and just so awesome to hear on the show. So thank you both so much for sharing. We do have a couple questions from the audience as well that we can probably dive into right now, which shouldn't take too long. But
let's do it.
Let's do it. Question 1. So this person wrote in from Instagram. When swinging, is it important that you each have a partner at the same time?
You want to field that one, or you want me to?
Well, I would say I'll go first.
Okay.
We don't necessarily have to have one at the same time. We always open up and ask each other, is it okay? Now, if he's not okay with it, then I won't do it. And the same vice versa. So there has to be, like I said, that trust and knowing that we're in agreement. Because if it's not going to be fun, if one doesn't agree, it's going to like ruin the whole scenery, the whole aura of our sexual tension and our hunger for each other.
Yeah. Primarily, we typically will only swing with other couples. There's swinging, and then there's creating content, and there is a fine line between the two. Like now, some of them sometimes they cross, but when we're actually when we're not filming content, we're just like going out and having a fun night. It's really more of we want to do it with a couple, and mostly because the conversation, the chemistry, the connection, like we got to have that 4-way connection in order to really have it work.
And I'm not gonna lie, I do get nervous too. So, I don't. Should I tell my secrets? If I do get nervous, I hold on to the arm of the person and I'm having sex, and then I tell him my secret. I'm like, off camera.
We'll save that. We'll save that one for the podcast.
Yeah, we'll save it for the podcast. Okay.
But yeah. So realistically, so yes, when we're swinging, for us, one of our boundaries is we want to have another couple for the most part, and we want all of us to have a connection. Because if one of them is not it, then it's not going to be fun for all of us.
No.
Because what we do is like it's a connection between us as well. Like I love seeing her in pleasure, being pleasured, like really in that bliss, eyes rolling in the back of her head, freaking.
Yeah, all the things.
But and she doesn't want to see me like just kind of
like
a dead fish going on, just like if the other wife is just kind of like one of those laying there, and I'm just kind of like,
no one wants that, right?
Okay. That's not she's not gonna have fun with it,
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's all about the connection too, and I kind of like how you guys approach it too, like having a drink or a coffee with them first to see if you even vibe, see if there is some kind of spark or anything that you can relate to. I think that's super important to really establish. Okay, like is there something here that we can build on, right? The next question is pretty simple. I think we answered it earlier, but how long have you two been in the adult industry?
So, in the adult industry, 4 years
for
her.
For me, yep.
6 months for me.
Freshly new.
Fresh.
I'm just a baby.
And then I believe we kind of already answered this in depth, but if you want to add anything to it, but how did you get started in the adult industry?
So yeah, so I mean, we did kind of already cover that. One of my coworkers was also in the industry before and was in the lifestyle as well. And the conversation started. We met the photographer, Jimmy Hardy, and just kind of went on from there.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we'll win his gesture.
Scroll back to listen to that part if you missed it earlier in terms of how to get started. But before I let you two go, where can we all find you?
So all of her links can be found on her website, JazmineCruzXXX.com.
And then
that takes her to my bio or whatever you call it.
Everything.
All of
my
things.
My Twitter, my TikTok, my Instagram, my OnlyFans, my Pornhub.
They're all listed on there.
Store, wish list. They're all there. So Jazmine, JazmineCruzXXX.com. We're everywhere. All over social media.
I'm still kind of building my link tree or whatever you want to call that thing. So I'm Mr. Sexy Buns, Mr. Spelled out, and then 2022 on Instagram, on Twitter. You can find me at JR_Cruz 2020.
Your TikTok, Mr. Sexy Buns.
Yep, just Mr. Sexy Buns, MISTERSYBUNS. And then my OnlyFans is just JR Cruz 2020. She's Jazmine Cruz Fans.
Perfect. I gotta plug all the links. I gotta follow you guys on TikTok as well. I can't wait to see your content.
Yeah, please do. Jazmine Cruz OFF1.
And Instagram, Jazmine_official_01.
I'm trying to save time and just
get
into your thing.
No, it's all good. I've got all the links in the show notes below. For those who are listening, feel free to give them a follow, go subscribe to their shit. Pay for your porn, peoples, and go support them. They're super fun. And for everyone else listening at home, it is Stripped by Sia on all podcast platforms. So if you're listening on Apple, I appreciate a review. I would appreciate some 5 stars. Same with on Spotify. Jazmine's dancing right now, and I'm maybe going to be nibbling on JR's neck right now. And it's new episodes every single Sunday. So be sure to subscribe. Give me your feedback. Stripped by Sia on Twitter and on Instagram. But for now, I guess that's it for you two. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks so much for having us. And it is so great seeing you quasi in person.
Close.
For those of you that are looking at her, she is gorgeous. Yes. Let me tell you.
Filipina power.
If she's ever looking for some content partners.
Yes, I'm gonna have to ask you guys when I see you guys next. But thank you everyone for listening. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Stay tuned for a new one next week.
See you later, guys. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. You're listening to Stripped by Sia, hosted, produced, and edited by Steph Sia. Music by Ted D. Graphic design by Maria Bellanderama, and photography by Ian Dabrin.